So tell us a little bit about some of your favorite work you've done for a client and why it's your favorite.
Yeah, this was a hard question because as a designer, when you're in the design process or in the thick of it, you really like fall in love with what you're doing. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like having to pick a favorite child, and that's really hard to do. But I think if I were to look back and, pick one that I think was the top runner or the one that I really liked the most or that challenged me the most, I think I'd probably have to pick Cubby Baby Bottle just because I have never done anything in the retail industry before. I've never done any sort of merchandising branding. So this challenged me a little bit. But also, the client, Lydia Heyman, was so open to what we had to do or what we did and was very excited about the brand, therefore, made us excited about the brand. And it was just a great collaborative project. And I'm really in love with the end result with that. Also, a lot of the elements of the final brand, the entire design team had a say in, as well as some of the writing team as well, as far as like taglines go. So it was just a great collaborative project that I think everybody on the team could be proud of by having a hand in that.
It had to have been fun, like, taking a product brand, from the incubation phase to market, right?
Yeah, well, that's another thing too, is it's one thing to redesign a brand that already exists, right? We do that a lot with a lot of our clients and we're totally happy to do it. But it's a whole nother thing to have it come really from thin air and just kind of take what the client gives you, take the vibe of the client, the product, and then create something that, I mean, it represents the brand and the client, really.
Is there someone at Parklife? Is there someone's work at Parklife you really admire or are inspired by?
Right off the bat, I have to say Brian Castle, just because he started this company. His social skills are off the chart. I always say that I have a hard time going into meetings without him just because he is such a bright light to every meeting that we go into. The group of people whose work inspires me the most is actually, I think, just my design team as a whole. Just because I've obviously like I'm newer in the design industry and in the marketing industry, but they are like either a year out of college or brand new to the industry, and I'm getting to see all of their interpretations to design and what they bring to the table. And in a way, it also helps me as a designer because I'm able to see, what new trends are, or yeah, it's great to see, especially when we do for a lot of our clients we'll tag team brands. And so we'll bring usually Jess, Rachel, and I on a project. All three of us will try our hand at a brand, and it's just cool to see what they come up with. And it's just kind of like especially since a lot of the things that we're doing, not necessarily design wise, but just as a whole as a company, I've taught them how to do. So it's just, it's like a proud mom moment.
Yeah, totally. And it's fun. I mean, you mentioned collaboration before, but it's almost like you're in partnership with
Yeah.
Jess and Rachel and
Yeah. And I don't really look at them as me being a superior to them. I feel like we're all at the same level in a way when it comes to design. And yeah, it's just a cool process.
yeah, it's always good to have another set of eyeballs around.
Hmm.
So, what do you like most about working at Parklife?
So what I like most about working at Parklife is definitely the support that we get as designers and just support in general from leadership. And, if we ever run into any sort of issue with a client, we know that Parklife always has our back. I also love the flexibility with Parklife. We get to do things on our own terms, and I think as designers that's so important because creative block is a thing. So when, you're on a deadline or you're working on something and all of a sudden you just like something just leaves your brain, that it happens. And so with Park Life, people are very understanding about that and let you work on your own terms or your own timeline to get a project done. And ultimately, I think that helps the project just look that much more awesome. And then also flexibility, looking at giving us creative freedom with a lot of our clients. I think a lot of trust is put into us, and it really shows that we're able to do what we want design wise, and then, of course, collaborate with the client. But Brian and the leadership team really just like let us flourish as far as design goes.
Yeah, again, it's a breath of fresh air. to work for a company that's as open-minded, as we are.
Yeah, and it definitely we're allowed to let our personality shine, and we can take that into account depending on the client that we work with. And it's happened before where we see a client and we get the personality and we're like, okay, well, we think that maybe Jess would be perfect for this client or Rachel would be perfect for this client. And just kind of being able to, choose a great path for that person.
It's really nice talking with you, Carly. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for doing this, Casey.